Hello, my friends. Happy Monday evening. I wanted to pop in today and just kind of chat through a fresh week, a new start. Even if you're in the middle of a program, you don't have to go back to day one, right? You just start where you are, you realign whatever is off kilter, and you don't have to change everything. I want you to hear my words in your head. You don't have to change everything. You don't have to rewire your entire freaking life or your entire schedule. You don't need to go back to a day one or start a new program. You just need to make teeny tiny tweaks. Do the next right thing along the way, okay? So I'm in the middle of 4 weeks for everybody. I started over 2 weeks ago. And then this last week, my nutrition just kind of went pattywampus. And this weekend, I had 0 F's to give. I ate ice cream. I had all the things. Hey, Karen. And it was kind of one of those moments where I knew I was off track, and I posted about being off track, but I couldn't get back on track. Okay, so instead of doing the same thing that I was doing, which obviously wasn't working, I decided to pivot. Okay, so my pivot means I'm starting day one of Gut Protocol, of the nutrition piece again. Okay, doesn't mean I have to go the full 4 weeks. I probably will because I really like it. But I'm starting that again because I need it. This is who I am. I need the dry erase board, the fresh start. There's something really magical for me about a day one. So earlier today, even though this weekend was crazy and Shark Week is coming, so I'm bloated and my measurements I know aren't going to be accurate, I still treated it like a day one. I wrote down my measurements, I weighed myself, and I was honest about it. And then I picked up where I left off with my workouts, which is week 3, day 1 of 4 weeks for everybody. Something different that I'm doing was I have been using the BOD app, and I really like that. I like that you can select whichever nutrition program you're going to follow, which you can choose from To Be Mindset or the Ultimate Portion Fix, which is the containers, which is the same containers you use for Gut Protocol, but Gut Protocol has different rules and a different amount of containers, okay? So I just edited the amount of containers. I upped them where they needed to be upped. But me logging it on an app, it doesn't have the same accountability that apparently I need as writing down what goes in my mouth. So I printed these off. If you haven't printed them yet and you have Gut Protocol, I'm challenging you to do so. These are just ways to pivot, okay? It's not about you sucking or you're behind or you need to start over. It's literally just about you making teeny tiny pivots, because it's just like an airplane. We can get slightly off track, and it doesn't even seem like you're that far off track, but before you know it, you wound up in an entirely different city. Congratulations, you're human. Welcome to the club. There's lots of us that get off kilter. You just realign, okay? No big deal. And I was thinking about that this weekend. I was like, what in life is linear? Other than going through grades in school, there's nothing else in life that's linear. Okay, well, maybe reading a book, that's linear as well. But nothing is linear. You're going to fail. Failing is required in order for you to have success. In order for you to change your trajectory, you're going to have to fail at some point along the way. And so I don't want you to be so freaked out about failure. Failure is just an opportunity to learn. It's just data. So if you feel like you've been failing, I want you to rewire what the word failure even means. I welcome failure. I'm going to try this, and I'm going to recommit to it, and I'm going to tweak the areas that need to be tweaked, and I'm going to surrender the rest. So I took my photos today, and I took my measurements, and I wrote down my weight, because all of it is data and all of it matters. We don't just save those for when we feel super good. This was my gut check moment that you got off track. And that's okay, because you live life, right? Carla had a big anniversary weekend and she was so on point, and she was like, what do I do? And I was like, you live your freaking life, man. You have the champagne, you do the shots, you eat the oysters, you have the cake, because life is meant to be lived, not staying in some weird diet box thing, okay? Gut Protocol is freaking amazing, and it's a gift, and I think every single one of you should do it, because you learn so much along the way, because we're all different. We're not cookie cutters. What works for me might not work for you. And I knew I had food sensitivities, but then this weekend, I allowed some of the foods, not all of them, but some of the foods that I've been avoiding to come back into my life. And now I have a very clear idea of what the consequence for those foods are. And that doesn't mean I won't ever let them back in my life, because I love ice cream and I love sugar and I love the sugary coffee and I love all the things. But now I know there is a very clear consequence. If I eat this, my neck will hurt. it creates inflammation in my body. It's no longer a hypothesis. It is a factual, this is how it affects me. It might affect you totally differently, but that has been my biggest aha. And I had an ice cream bar last night before bed because I was like, let's go big or go home, right? And I woke up this morning and I had big bags under my eyes. And I was like, wow. I slept really good. I was exhausted this weekend. I went to bed early. I had pretty much a whole day of self-care. Like, I just literally laid on the couch and read because I had no energy. I think because I was eating like a dumpster fire. Again, all these things that we don't think are interconnected are. And it's a vicious cycle because you're like, well, I feel crappy or I feel crummy, and so I'm going to eat the comfort food, and then that comfort food doesn't comfort you at all. Instead, it's sugary and greasy and filled with oils or whatever, and it creates this inflammation cycle, which makes you feel even more cruddy, and then you want to reach for it. So it's a cycle, and I'm not telling you have to evict these things out of your life for forever. I'm just asking you to be aware of your own particular body and treat it like an experiment. Like, how do I feel? Try one thing. How does it make me feel? How's my digestion? How is my energy? How does my body feel? What do my eyes look like? You know, like you can tell in people's eyes sometimes. So anyways, that was a very long-winded chat about I was off track. Oh well, big freaking whoop. Instead of just continuing on the cycle, I pivoted. I printed these. I'm going to use these. I'm going to share my accountability in here. I'm still going to use the app because I really like how it like tracks and counts down how many containers I have, and that sort of thing brings me joy. This is my water. I'm still drinking it. I'm going to be drinking a lot here shortly and then peeing all night. It's my journey. This is your journey. So you don't have to change all the things. Instead, you have to change teeny tiny actions, and that will completely change the trajectory of your journey. And I was listening to a podcast today, and she was saying, one workout, one salad, one ride, one walk, one chapter of a personal development book is not going to change your life. It's not going to change your life. It's not going to suddenly give you results. It's not going to suddenly give you this aha. And we look to all these things to motivate us, but ultimately we are in charge of motivating ourselves. And even more than motivation, the point she made today was, instead of, I don't really want to show up to the workout. I don't really want to be sore. I don't want to give up the ice cream. I don't want to get up earlier. I don't want to sit still and read the book or listen to the book instead of listening to whatever. Like, reframe it. And instead of, what are you going to get from it down the road? Instead, I get to make a promise to myself and actually keep it. You build your own belief, and every decision that goes in your piggy bank deposit, right? We've talked about this before. Like, this is a decision that will serve me. That is a deposit in your piggy bank. That is you developing your trust and your self-belief. Because I don't know about you, but I was a chronic quitter. And I was the first person to quit on myself as a mom. I was like, well, I'm busy. I don't have the time to get to it. I'll put it on tomorrow's list. I eroded my trust in myself. I eroded my belief in my ability to show up and stay consistent. You are 100% in charge of that. So that has been you. If you have been eroding your belief and you have been self-sabotaging, I want to challenge you this week to think, instead of me showing up to this right now, means that I am proving to myself that I'm worth it and that I'm capable of making these decisions. You're not going to have an immediate benefit other than that belief, other than that I did it. I showed up for myself. I prioritized myself. And that doesn't mean that the action you take has to be perfect or even complete. I say this all the time. I want you to do 10 minutes instead of none. Some is better than none. It will win every single day. Okay? Okay. So, fresh week, new start. You don't have to go back to a day one. You just need to be honest about where you're at and what, like, one or two things can you pivot, not rewire, not completely redesign, but just teeny tiny, like, just get out your little ratchet strap or whatever and just be like, how can I edit this? So for me, it's nutrition. I am tired. I want a coffee. I want to roll around naked. I'm like looking in the drawer for chocolate chips. I totally own it, but it won't serve me. So instead, I'm going to build my belief, and I'm going to honor my own decisions and continue to build the trust in myself by making the right decisions, right? By keeping the promise that I'm going to prioritize my nutrition, and I'm not going to reach to something that's a quick fix that will ultimately make me feel bad. Okay? Okay. So if you need anything, let me know. My intention for the week is to not eat like an a-hole. What's yours?